Hi, I'm Mason Bates. I'm the composer of Desert Transport, which is on the opening night concert of Cabrillo's 2011 season. Desert Transport is about a helicopter trip I took over the Arizona desert, and it contemplates this incredible desert landscape from the perspective of this whizzing helicopter. This is my third appearance at the Cabrillo Festival. The first two pieces, Rusty Air in Carolina and Liquid Interface, both incorporated electronics into the orchestral fabric. With this piece, Desert Transport, I'm having a purely unplugged piece, which began at the Arizona Music Festival, where I was composer-in-residence for a few wonderful winters. Of course, it's always very warm and pleasant in Arizona. The festival arranged for me to take a helicopter ride over the desert as a way to perhaps inspire me to write a new piece for the festival. I think they were imagining that it would be a piece just about the desert, but I couldn't get the helicopter element out of my head. And so I actually made that a very important part of the piece. The very first movement is all about taking off. There's a lot of acceleranti that build up to a takeoff that happens in the second movement. And then we fly eventually to Sedona, where you see these huge, incredible red rock formations. And ultimately, the piece ends up pretty far away from where it started. It ends up in these cliff dwellings called Montezuma's Castle. These are ancient Indian cliff dwellings, and I wanted to take the piece to a completely different place than where it began, which was in an airport hangar. Desert Transport has a wide variety of sounds in it. A huge part of the beginning of the piece tries to recreate the feeling of a helicopter takeoff. So you have things such as a ruta, which is a bundle of sticks hit against a bass drum in coordination with some kolenyu slapped bows in the bass section. You have a fair amount of sandpaper blocks moving very rapidly that also mimic the whirring, whizzing sound of helicopter rotors. On the other end of the spectrum, there's actually a recording of some Pima Indians singing a tune called Mountain by the Sea. And when I was writing the piece, I thought, you know, there's really no way I can do this piece without really at least getting familiar with some of the music of the Arizona desert. And when I heard this recording, I thought, first of all, it's an interesting tune that I could perhaps incorporate into the piece. But better yet, what if I could actually just bring that in? And so these Pima Indians kind of float in the kind of last third of the piece. And it's a little bit of a surprise. While the piece is acoustic primarily, I couldn't resist having this actual recording come in because the texture of the vocals and this particular rattle that the Indians use as a percussive instrument, those just sounded so distinctive. I had to include them in the piece. It's so great to be coming back to Cabrillo again. There's nothing like Cabrillo anywhere. There's really no festival of American orchestral music that happens anywhere. And this is some of the best players from around the country, conducted by one of the great advocates for new music of our time. I also love it because I'm a huge fan of Northern California and I love Santa Cruz. But there are a million other reasons to come check out this festival, whether you're a composer, whether you're a musician, whether you're somebody who knows nothing about music. It's always very exciting. It's always some of the best playing that you're ever going to hear. And it's super energetic and adventurous. If you're in town, if you're not in town, you should definitely try to figure out how you can join us at the Cabrillo Festival.